Hello my friends, Hank here. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be doing a little weathering on this big old beastie here to practice some simple techniques for replicating dirt and dust effects on your vehicles from the North African theater of operations during World War II. So whether you're working on a Panzer of the Afrika Korps or a Crusader of the British Armoured Brigades, this one is for you. Let's jump right into it. For today's demo, I'll be working on this 1/35th scale Tamiya Tiger 1, but as mentioned, these effects will work well on any fighting vehicles in the arid, dusty deserts and plains from Algeria to Egypt. We're going to start here with a simple pin wash using some enamel dark wash and a bit of odorless thinner to help accentuate the various armor panels of our tank and collect a bit of grime in all the recesses here. We'll just work our way around the vehicle, brushing some dark wash product into the panel lines, around the hatches, the pioneering tools, etc., and then we'll come back with some of our thinner to help that wash flow over the surface of the tank. These enamels dry relatively slowly, so we can spend as much time as we'd like working with the product until we get the effect we're looking for. I like to go pretty heavy with this first pass of dark wash on desert vehicles because we're going to follow this up with a bunch of lighter dust coats. So almost over accentuating the details of the vehicle with dark wash up front can be handy to help these elements remain visible and visually interesting in our finished product. On some of our larger flat portions of the tank, especially on a big old thing like this Tiger, we can almost treat the dark wash as a filter of sorts to add some dynamic modulation to our basic Gelbbräu and Sandgrau two-tone camo scheme underneath. Alright, so here I've gone ahead and left the kit to dry for about 24 hours. Our enamel effects are looking good, so let's move on to some desert dust work. We're going to continue with another enamel wash, but this time we're using some of this ammo light dust. We can begin by sludging this all over the surfaces of our tracks, being sure to get it flowing into all the details inside and outside of the run. We're also going to apply some of this light dust wash to our road wheels themselves, allowing this to flow and accumulate around the rims of the wheels. We also want to get some of this product onto our sprockets and to our idler wheels. And you can start to see why we went so heavy with our first dark wash. If we were to just start with the light dust wash and skip the dark wash altogether, all of this light dust and the base camo paints would just kind of blend together and make one big desert yellow blob. And that is not what we want, of course. While we're still working with our light wash, let's keep moving around the vehicle and hit the fenders, the side skirts, and some of the lower portions of the vehicle as well, letting the product flow into all the details of the tank just like we did with our dark wash. As we continue to move up the tank, we're going to brush some of this light dust product around the panels of the tank where dust would naturally accumulate, and as this product dries, we're going to start to see how this lovely layered effect with our first darker pass and the lighter dust pass comes to life. Alright, at this point it's time to start adding our first pigments. While our light dust wash is still wet, we're going to load up an old brush with some of this light dust pigment and start to brush this onto our tracks. This will start to absorb some of that dust wash and cling to the tracks, creating a bit of texture as if mud and sand were starting to cake into the recesses of the tracks. While we move around the vehicle, we can dapple some of this pigment onto our road wheels themselves, as well as on the fenders of the tank, the lower glasses plate, the rear armor plate, to help tie in this kicked up dust effect. And to add just a little bit of variation to our dust tones here, let's break out some of this Vietnam earth. It's this lovely red dust tone, and we're going to add just a little bit of this to some portions of our track. Use this sparingly, it's very bright as you can see, but it does work well for adding a little bit of variation and realism to our dust accumulation. If you look at pictures from the battlefields in North Africa, it wasn't just all sand, of course, so this richer soil tone is a good way to add some interest to our model here. Now, once that final pass of pigment work is on our vehicle, it's time to seal this all in with a bit of matte varnish. And with that, we've got ourselves a nice basic formula for recreating authentic dirt and dust weathering on vehicles from the North African theater of World War II. I hope you guys found this helpful. A little preview, I do have an Afrika Korps tank commander figure in the mail right now, so I'm hoping to do a little tutorial on that very shortly. Stay tuned. But until next time, my friends, thank you for watching. Be well, happy building, cheers.